Cereal for dinner. As the economy implodes, the CEO of Kellogg's is trying to convince Americans that Frosted Flakes and Fruit Loops are a cheaper alternative. Michael Snyder reports, "Would you eat Cheerios for dinner? What about Lucky Charms? Many years ago when I was a college student, I would often eat cereal instead of a normal meal in the evening. Needless to say, that was not good for my health at all. But now cereal for dinner has become quite trendy. Food prices have soared in recent years, and millions of Americans are trying to cut costs anywhere that they can. As the economy continues to implode and more customers find themselves under pressure, the CEO of Kellogg thinks that he will be able to convince even more of us that choosing cereal for dinner is a great way to save money." Gary Pilnick, CEO of WK Kellogg Company, told CNBC, "When we think about our consumer under pressure, cereal has always been quite affordable, and it tends to be a great destination when consumers are under pressure." He said his company has been focusing on messaging to reach the consumer where they are. So we are advertising about cereal for dinner. If you think about the cost of cereal for a family versus what they might otherwise do, that's going to be much more affordable. The price of a bowl of cereal with milk and with fruit is less than $1, so you can imagine where a consumer under pressure might find that to be a good place to go. Pilnick said when looking at company data, breakfast cereal is the number one choice for in-home consumption, with over 25% of cereal consumption being outside of breakfast. Cereal for dinner is something that is probably more on trend now, and we would expect to continue as that consumer is under pressure, he said. "Hey, I have an even better idea. Instead of eating cereal, all of us can make our dollars stretch even further by eating pet food for dinner. Doesn't that sound great? At this stage in my life, the idea of eating processed cereals for dinner is just disgusting. But as food becomes less and less affordable, many Americans will be looking to survive from month to month any way that they can." The interview followed news from the Wall Street Journal that showed Americans spending 10% or more of their income on food, the most they have in 30 years. Previous reporting from USA Today highlighted that the average family is spending more than $1,000 on groceries each month. The cereal category has always been quite affordable, Pilnick said. Kellogg, which owns cereals like Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, Corn Flakes, and Raisin Bran, tends to be a great destination when consumers are under pressure, Pilnick said, adding that the price of cereal with milk and fruit is less than $1. This is the real story of our economy. The state of our economy. Most Americans are living right on the edge, and hunger has been rapidly growing all over the nation. 17 million households were not able to get enough food in 2022, according to the administration, and about 6.8 million of those households, a member had to skip meals or make other changes at times because there was not enough money and resources for food. Unfortunately, the worst is yet to come. It appears that the economy has taken a sharp negative turn in early 2024. For example, we just learned that consumer confidence declined much more than expected this month. The survey's index fell in February by 106.7, down from a reading of 110.9 in January. Americans became less worried about rising food and gas prices, but more concerned about the job market, the survey showed. The drop in confidence was broad-based, affecting all income groups except household earnings less than $15,000 and those earning more than $125,000. Dana Peterson, chief economist at the Conference Board, said in a release, confidence deteriorated for consumers under the age of 35 and those 55 and over, whereas it improved slightly for the ages 35 to 54. Americans' outlook for the economy in the following months, including their expectations for income and business conditions, declined this month, slipping below the threshold that often signals recession ahead, according to the report. Concerns about the job market are definitely warranted because large employers are conducting mass layoffs from coast to coast. Earlier today, we learned that Sony will be laying off 900 employees in its PlayStation division. Sony becomes the latest company to announce layoffs, stating that it will make cuts to its PlayStation division. In the announcement sent out Tuesday, February 27, the gaming company said it will lay off 900 employees, about 8% of its workforce, across several of the company's locations. And Expedia just announced that 1,500 workers will be hitting the bricks. Expedia, the online travel agency, is eliminating about 1,500 employees as part of an organizational and technological transformation. The cuts, which amount to nearly 9% of its 17,100 strong global workforce, come amid slowing travel demand following a post-pandemic boom and a broader shake-up at the company, including a new CEO. Everywhere we look, we see weakness. Personally, I was greatly saddened to hear that Macy's has decided to shut down approximately 150 stores. Macy's plans to close roughly 150 of its locations over the next 3 years in a strategy shift that leans more heavily on its luxury Bloomingdale's and Blue Mercury chains. The company announced the shift publicly Tuesday morning, saying it was entering a bold new chapter, quote unquote, with a new CEO, Tony Spring. Macy's will be down to 350 stores once all of the planned closures occur. When will the legacy media finally admit that what is happening? The U.S. economy is rapidly moving in the wrong direction, but they don't want to admit that because it would make Joe Biden look bad. In January, orders for durable goods were depressingly low. The last few months have been volatile, to say the least, for U.S. durable goods orders, with primarily January data showing an enormous 6.1% month-over-month plunge in the headline, worse than the already 5% decline expected. That is the weakest month-over-month print since the middle of the COVID lockdown in April 2020. Dragging year-over-year orders growth down to minus 0.8%, the lowest and first annual contraction since August 2020. That is a very clear sign that a major economic shift has begun. Why can't more people see this? And major banks continue to shut down branches at a feverish pace. American banks filed to close 31 branches in a single week this month, with Wells Fargo and PNC accounting for more than half. Each of the two banks said that they would shut 8 branches across Alabama, Florida, Indiana, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Texas, California, Connecticut, North Dakota, and New Jersey. Texas was worse hit, with closures set for Houston, Laredo, and Cypress. Other banks to have announced they would shutter locations between February 11 and 17 include Bank of America, Santander, Chase, Citizens, KeyBank, and Legacy. So much bad economic news is coming in that I can't possibly keep up with it all. But the Biden administration insists that everything is just fine. They would like you to believe that the future is going to be filled with sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, but that isn't the truth. The truth is that the U.S. economy has started to implode, and a lot more Americans are going to be eating cereal for dinner by the end of this calendar year. And this is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's extremely controversial book entitled Chaos, available on paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes it by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. You can connect with Michael on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and share his articles on your own social media accounts. It's definitely a great help. These are such troubled times that people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.